Hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322 and this video is going to show the fastest electric cars in terms of lap time as of the Arena War update. As always, the position counter is in the top left with the best lap time the car achieved in the top right. And if you're interested in the performance of all vehicles in the game, check the playlist link in the description or the pinned comment alongside the top speed testing series. If you want to know more information about this testing, including the extent to which it's accurate and how useful it is for you personally, have a read of the full description as everything that you need is in there. And for the performance of any future vehicle editions, feel free to subscribe for new testing videos every Thursday and check out my Patreon or become a YouTube member if you'd like to support me and get testing results early. So here we are, it's been a while since I've covered electric vehicles in GTA. I think it was back in 2015 and we've had certainly a lot of new additions since then, the newest of which being the RC Bandito, which is good enough to outpace the Caddy into 9th place, drops the Caddy down to 10th place for electric cars. But the first half of this video we're going to be seeing pretty slow vehicles, and in general electric cars are really not that quick. There are some very quick electric vehicles, but they're always bettered by their standard engine counterparts. So obviously the Dilettante here is absolutely stone dead last for the compacts class. Then we've got the Surge here, which is in 7th place overall for electric vehicles, and that kind of shows how few electric vehicles there are in the game. It's only 15th place for the sedans class. It's you know, around 10 seconds per lap slower than the very best sedan in the game. And yeah, it's generally the same story. For example, we've got the Chameleon in 6th place here, and its lap time of 1:08 isn't too bad, but there's an awful lot of sports cars that are much quicker than the Chameleon. As you can see, it's only in 45th place for the sports class. And electric vehicles in general, you know, they're always great in terms of acceleration, but they just don't have it anywhere else. The Voltic, for example, we're into the top 5 now already. The Chameleon and the Voltic are two very, very old vehicles, and then we've got pretty much new vehicles for the rest of the video. The Voltic used to be the quickest electric vehicle in the game, but the 105 lap time that it gets is only good enough for 39th place in the supercars class, and the Voltic as a supercar is slower than a lot of sports cars, and that just kind of shows the difficulty that electric vehicles have, because they do have acceleration but they don't have any top speed. And to really get a good lap time, you need a mix of everything. You know, top speed is somewhat important, acceleration is important, and cornering ability is important as well. And a lot of electric vehicles just haven't put all of that together. So we've got the Raiden here in 4th place for electric vehicles in a 104.4 is good enough for 21st place in the sports class. It's a respectable lap time, but it's certainly no Neon, which is in 3rd place for electric cars. And that the 103.2 lap time that it gets is actually really, really impressive. 7th place in the sports class, so it's in the top 10. It's not going to be on the pace of the top few sports cars like the Pariah and the Comet SR, things like that. But it can certainly compete with a lot of other sports cars like Feltzers, Jesters, Massacros, all those kind of vehicles. And on certain tracks, the Neon will be able to beat them, especially on circuits where if nobody's done the track before, the Neon is a very good option because you don't really need to corner very well, because the acceleration will get you out of it. And I would certainly say that in comparison to all of the other vehicles in their classes, the Neon is probably the best when it comes to acceleration and what an electric vehicle should do. The Cyclone here in 2nd place, it might have a little bit better acceleration overall, but so do a lot of supercars, whereas the Neon in comparison to the rest of the sports cars is just light years ahead in terms of acceleration. Shame it doesn't have a very good top speed, but that's the same for all the vehicles in this list really, and we will be seeing the top speed testing video for all these vehicles next week. So yeah, the Cyclone gets a 1:01.8 lap time, which is actually pretty respectable. 23rd place in supercars, it's not too bad. There's a lot of vehicles around that 1 minute 1 second lap time area, but again, we're not seeing the lap times that we would get from the very top supercars, and that goes for the Tesseract as well, which is our #1 quickest electric car in the game. But its lap time of 1:01.6 is only a few tenths of a second quicker than the Cyclone, and it's only good enough for a top 20 position in the supercars class. And it's pretty much the same story for electric vehicles across the board, as what we see from the Tesseract, they're always going to be beaten by their standard engine counterparts. There's always going to be a petrol engine car that is going to be quicker than it, and we're going to obviously see the comparison at the end between the Tesseract, which is the quickest electric car in the game, and the Wagner, which is the quickest standard petrol engine car in the game, and you'll see that there's a night and day difference. Now, the Tesseract is a little bit different than other electric vehicles because unlike all the other electric vehicles, which have pretty poor top speeds, the Tesseract has a relatively respectable top speed, which we'll see next week. But it just doesn't put it together anywhere else. It doesn't have the cornering capabilities of any other car, and if anything, its acceleration is done a little bit differently because it gains most of its time from the sort of the mid-range acceleration zone. It doesn't really gain from very, very low speed acceleration, and maybe the Cyclone and the Neon would actually be better than it in that situation. So it builds up its speed differently. But again, it's just the same story that we haven't seen an electric car so far that has really put everything together like the petrol cars have. Now, that's probably not a surprise because, you know, we've had a lot more standard engine cars than we have electric cars. We're only seeing 10 in this video, and that's pretty much all of them. But yeah, it's kind of a shame that we don't have a really, really quick electric car. The Tesseract is the quickest, obviously, but it certainly isn't going to be competitive against something like a Wagner, as you can see on the screen already. One thing to point out is that the Raiden that we saw in 4th place and is in the sports class is a 4-seater, and it is very, very quick for a 4-seater, as is the Neon as well. So they're very quick, and if you want to see the quickest 4-seaters, I did cover that as well in a previous video, and those two do very, very well indeed. Obviously, we've got a new DLC on the horizon, and maybe we'll see some electric vehicles with that, but these will be the last variation videos for this series until that DLC comes. And then obviously, as always, I'll be covering all the new vehicles for lap time and top speed as and when they arrive. So feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, put notifications on, all that kind of stuff with the little bell. And yeah, I'll be in for a lot more testing. We'll see what happens. But for now, that's pretty much it. Remember to read the description for more info, comment with your thoughts, like the video if you enjoyed or found it helpful, subscribe for more, and consider supporting on Patreon or becoming a member on YouTube. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.